Hello and welcome to 2.2, Solving Equations, the multiplication principle. So last time in 2.1 we talked about the addition principle, which essentially was when we're solving these linear equations, we want to isolate the variable. And we noticed that whatever we did to one side, we had to do the other side. There was like some balance. Well, the same thing's true when we're dealing with multiplication. So before, when you saw if we added 6 to one side, we had to add 6 to the other side. Here, if we multiply one side by 6, we have to multiply the other side by a 6. Or if we multiply by 1/6, which is the same as dividing by 6, we got to do the same thing the other side. So really that's what this principle is saying. The principle for equations is if we have any real numbers a, b, and c, a equals b is equivalent to a times c equals b times c. That is, to get from here to here, we multiply both sides by c. If we multiply a by c, we get this ac. If we multiply b by c, we get the bc. Similarly, if we're over here and we want to get back to here, we're really dividing both sides by c. Divide by c, divide by c. c divided by c is 1. c divided by c is 1. So we get back to where we started. So we're going to use that concept and the notion that we're trying to isolate these variables to solve these problems. So without further ado, if we have 84 equals 7x, 7x really means 7 times x. Because this means 7 times x, the way that we undo multiplications with division, so if we want to get the x all alone here, we want to divide by 7. But if we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other side as well. So here, 7 divided by 7 is 1, or 1x, so we call that x. 84 divided by 7, let's see, I think it's 12. It is in fact 12, so we get our answer 12. So we can go back and check these like we did before, that is plugging this in. Does 84 equals 7 times 12. Put that in your handy calculator and you'll notice that in fact is true. So kind of moving over to the right now, and we're solving this negative x equals 53. Negative x is really negative 1 times x. We can think of that as negative 1 times x equals 53. So once again, if we're trying to undo this multiplication that's right there, we're going to divide. So divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 is 1. Those cancel out. We get x equals positive 53 divided by negative 1 is negative 53. And that's the answer. Now if we check this, we plug it back in. We have negative 53. Does that equal 53? And these two negatives, when we multiply those, both acting like negative ones, negative times negative is positive, and we're right there with that. So moving on to this next one here, we got a little negative 12x equals 72. Negative 12x means negative 12 times x. And again, the way we undo multiplications with division, so divide by negative 12, divide by negative 12. And here, negative 12 divided by negative 12 is just 1, so that gives us x. 72 divided by 12 is going to give us 6, but because we're dividing a positive by a negative, we know that's going to be a negative 6. And that's what we're looking at there. So we can check our answer. Negative 12 times negative 6 equals 72. Well, a negative times a negative is definitely a positive, so that's good. And if you plug that in your calculator or multiply that out by hand, you'll notice that you do in fact get 72. So over here with this negative x equals negative 37, negative x is negative 1 times x, so we're going to divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. So negative x divided by negative 1 is just x. Negative 37 divided by negative 1 is a positive 37. So we do that. Do a little check. Negative 37 equals negative 37. And I'm thinking that that in fact is the case. So we'll take a look at that there. So moving on to this next one here. Negative 12w is, or excuse me, negative 13w is negative 13 times w. Divide by negative 13, divide by negative 13. We get cancellation here, w. Over here, negative divided by negative is positive, so I want to do a check there. And 104 divided by 13 is 8. Do a little check, we'll do it in blue. Negative 13 times 8 equals negative 104. Stick that in your calculator, and in fact, that is the case. So in this next one here, if we have t divided by 7, or t over 7, we want to get rid of this division by 7. So how we undo division is with multiplication, just like how we undo multiplications with division. So here, we want to multiply both sides by 7. And 7 is really a 7 over 1. So multiply by 7 over 1. This is a t over 7 equals our negative 9 times 7. Here we can cross cancel. The 7's cancel. T divided by 1 is just t. And then here, 9 times 7 is 63. But because we have negative 9 to positive 7, that's going to be negative 63. This is our answer. Plug this back in. To check, negative 63 divided by 7 equals negative 9. In fact, that is the case. So there you go. So hopefully that made sense and you enjoyed that. We'll see you soon.